Hi, beautiful. Welcome to Spiritually Beautiful Podcast. Do not forget to do your burn and release and be safe. But here we discuss self-love, spiritual alignment, self-development, and women empowerment. No matter where you're listening from, this is a safe space. So let's step into alignment, one conversation at a time. So we're going to get right into it. This is about self-awareness, whether it's for you or someone that you know. The topic is basically for those that normally shut down when they are in an argument, or if someone is getting loud with them. You sometimes think to yourself, am I weak? Am I scared? Am I afraid? Or what is it? In a lot of cases, people just like to keep the peace, but still, while keeping the peace, you should also stand your ground and set your boundaries and defend yourself as well. So we're going to get a little deep into this, and hopefully at the end of it, it can help somebody, or you can pass it along to somebody and you can help somebody from letting them know, what's up. But all right. So basically it's like, when you're expressing yourself, that's your emotions. And then when you're in some type of conflict, argument, or anything dealing with emotional stress, you shut down, So a lot of people may think, oh, am I weak? Am I scared? Am I afraid? Some people just want to keep the peace. And some people just have never been in a situation, any type of conflict or anything, and don't know what to do. But in any case, whether you feel like you may be afraid, or whether you've never been in a situation like that before, or whether you want to keep your peace, at the end of the day, in all of those situations, you should always, and I mean always, set your boundaries. Do not allow people to treat you any type of way, even if you're trying to avoid it, And see, that was my thing for a long time. I would either avoid it, but I would only avoid certain people. Like, I'm not finna fight and argue with anybody that I love, and I'm not gonna fight and argue with anybody that I consider family. And I consider family where I come from, my immediate family, my siblings, my mom, my dad, both sides of their families, And then I also consider my children's family, because I want my children to have a good relationship with their family. I don't want to be the cause of that because I'm fighting and arguing with somebody. You know what I mean? So I always just tried to keep the peace. That was my main thing. I love being happy and peaceful. I try to keep the peace. But like I said, even in a case like that, that does not mean you just shut down. Do not shut down. Even if you are trying to keep the peace, because you can still defend yourself and put your boundary up and keep the peace. Keep it peaceful. But don't let people feel like they can just treat you any type of way. So, when you are learning to feel safe while expressing your emotions, you just have to build that strength, basically. And it's sad because for many of us, expressing your emotions wasn't safe growing up, especially for guys. And I know this podcast, I focus on women. One, because I am a woman and I went through a lot. So I'm just here to help and enlighten other women. But, I notice with young men, stop crying, you're not a girl. Stop crying, you're not a girl. But even with little girls, is stop crying, you're a crybaby. You cry too much. You cry about everything. So expressing your emotions, it wasn't safe growing up, It's maybe like when you're feeling dismissed, or you're feeling punished or ignored when you cry. So that's where a lot of people may have learned to just keep it inside, and they're thinking they're keeping in peace and they're protecting themselves. Because if I cry, they're going to tell me I'm a crybaby, or they're going to dismiss me, or I'm going to get in trouble, or, they're going to ignore me and just let me yell. Nobody's going to come and see what's wrong. So you just start keeping it to yourself just to protect yourself, And you have to heal from that. You have to heal from that. And healing starts when you realize that your emotions are not problems. And your feelings don't make you dramatic and weak. That's just how you feel. You know what I'm saying? And your emotion is your emotion. That's not a problem. So expressing yourself, any type of expression, during these moments does not have to lead to chaos. If the other person is bringing the chaos, just still don't just shut down and just stay around and let them act that way. Either leave, say this is your last time ever talking to me like that, or check that shit however you want to check it, but you don't have to be loud and obnoxious about it. Say what you're going to say. Stand up for yourself and move. You know what I mean? Because you never know. That might stop the next person. They probably just doing that because you're not saying anything about it. You know what I mean? But for yourself, you still want to stay calm and communicate properly. You don't want to, step out of yourself trying to basically defend yourself, but at the same time, you're not shutting down and you're not just letting this person talk crazy to you. I mean, nothing's wrong. Don't get me wrong. Nothing's wrong with ignoring. I'll ignore a motherfucker in a minute. Do you hear me? I will ignore your ass like you're not even talking to me. And then the next time you do want to talk to me, 9 times out of 10, knowing me, I'm cutting you off because you talk to me crazy like that. Yeah, I shut down. I ain't say that. I cut your ass off too. But if it's somebody that always does that and you just shut down, don't say nothing, you just let them keep doing it every time. No, we got to set some boundaries. That can't happen. So just know that you can express yourself and nothing bad has to happen. For a long time, I always say if I express myself or if I say what I want to say, it's going to get ugly. No, that's not the case. It's not going to get ugly. Motherfuckers going to get right. That's what's going to happen. And you don't have to yell. You don't have to get crazy and belligerent like they are. You can just say what you got to say and let that be that. And like I said, if you got to cut somebody off, cut them off. You don't wait until you're overwhelmed to understand how to communicate with somebody. Start communicating now. Do not shut down. Communicate. And then you say it calmly. If they're yelling and screaming, just say what you gotta say calmly and leave. That's it. But we're gonna step into it's the same topic, of course. That's what the discussion is about. If you're shutting down and things like that during conflict. But outside of, learning to communicate or learning how to express yourself during situations like this versus shutting down, you have to understand that you need to work on your nervous system and you have to regulate it. Because when you shut down, it's not your personality, it's your nervous system. So regulation tools that help your body feel safe enough to stay present versus just closing all the way down, not want to talk to nobody and feeling however you feel, balled up. You have to learn how to regulate it. So breathe slow. Just like, how when you're angry, you just have to sigh. Yeah. Breathe slow. Do that. So ground yourself through touch or temperature. Now, when I say grounding through touch or temperature, how some people have to touch something. I used to be bad at breaking. I used to be bad at breaking stuff. When I got mad, I just throw something. So you have those stress balls. You can, like me now, I lay down. As long as my body is flat, somewhere I know I'm safe, I just lay down and breathe. I lay down and breathe. So you can ground yourself through touch. That's my touch. Just laying down, touching the bed, body just flat, and breathe, and just, But if I'm out and it's somebody, I don't know, out in the streets or whatever, and I'm not home to lay down, I will just breathe, and I will literally like squeeze my hand like I have a stress ball. I know that may look crazy, but you don't want to go to jail, okay? And you don't want to explode. So whatever you got to do, you can do it through grounding, touch, and temperature. And when I say temperature, some people need to cool off. Some people need air. So get in front of a fan yourself, do whatever you got to do. I sometimes, depending on how upset I am, I do get hot when I get upset. I do get hot, but I necessarily don't have to cool down. I really just have to breathe and just sit down somewhere, But also you can just pause and walk away. Pause and walk away instead of sitting, listening, and keeping yourself there. Because I used to do that. I'll just sit there and listen, but ignore, but still hear. You know what I mean? Just taking all that mental abuse, that verbal abuse. But I wouldn't say that because I'm not going to argue back with you. I just sit there. But I should have left. I should have got up, because why I want to hear that shit? So it can keep running through my head. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of things that I wish I would have done. And if these are things that you or anybody that you know is doing, get up and leave. Don't just sit there. Get up and leave. Get away. If it's where you live, walk away, get a car, drive, something. Just get away from whoever it is you're going through that with, But yes, definitely make sure you breathe and regulate that nervous system. All right. So next, like I spoke on before, you have to set those boundaries. You have to set your boundaries with people that love to escalate shit, or people that are just disrespectful. Okay. You don't heal shutdown responses while staying in environments that constantly... My bad, my phone died, but I was saying you don't stay in places, in environments that constantly try to break you down. You can't heal that way. So basically just leave that environment and start learning to support yourself and build those boundaries, And then next, it goes into when you're healing, you do heal by yourself. You're learning yourself. You're grounding. You're learning a lot of different things about spirituality and just yourself in general, becoming the best person you can be. But healing doesn't mean everything has to be you. You know what I'm saying? You can have somebody to support you. It's okay to have people support you. And that's one of the reasons why I even do this channel, because I want to support, women during their journey, and I support in so many different ways. I provide a lot of different resources, and it's okay to heal and have that support, because somebody on the outside could identify your patterns before you can, because it's something you always do. But somebody from the outside can see, hey, this is what you're doing and it's kind of messed up, or are you okay? So having that support to help you heal is actually a beautiful thing, and then learn tools your body never had to access before. So basically learn new things. Do Do something new, do something different, change your routine. That helps you heal as well. A lot of people are against therapy. I've never been. I say a lot of people. I say a lot of people, but baby, I am too. I'm sorry, but actually, I'm not sorry. That's just how I feel. That's just my opinion. And it's okay for me to have my opinion. I just feel that I don't think therapy will help me. Some people may need it. Some people like it. If you do and it helps you, more power to you. Better yourself by all means, however you have to. And I don't see anything wrong with it. I just don't think it's for me. But therapy isn't about fixing you. It's about giving language and safety to the experiences that shaped you. So it's helping you. So don't look at it in a bad way if you do have to go through therapy, or if you do feel like you need it, but you're swaying against it. Me, the only reason I kind of sway against it for myself is because I'm like a therapist myself. I dig deep. I like to research. I like to indulge, and I like to find reasons and solutions. So I could literally be a fucking therapist myself. So I'm my therapist. But if you do need that extra assistance, go for it. And if therapy isn't accessible, support can still be like a safe community, some type of education. Like I said, I research myself. Educate yourself. Do some type of somatic practices or an honest self-reflection. I do that too. That's something that I do. I will self-reflect. Like, okay, what did you do? Did you start this? How did you respond? What did you, what I'm saying? So what are you doing wrong? What can you change? Ask yourself that and be honest, Ain't nothing better than checking yourself, baby. Because once you check yourself, can't nobody else check you. Because you ain't on no bullshit. You done already checked yourself on that dumb shit you was doing. You ain't doing that dumb shit no more. You know what I mean? So once you check yourself, can't nobody else check you. So, and that's a good way to be your own therapist, actually. You don't have to pay nobody. You don't have to tell anything to anybody and they have to record it or write it down. Keep your shit to yourself if you want to. But basically, if you shut down, if you go quiet or isolate during conflict, there is nothing wrong. You are not weak. You are not afraid. Your body learned how to survive, basically. You're trying to keep the peace. And just know that even if you're keeping the peace, you still have to defend yourself and stand up for yourself. Even if it's one word, you can say stop. 3 words, leave me alone. Or a sentence, I'm not going to accept you speaking to me like this. It doesn't have to be a whole lot of back and forth. It doesn't have to be curse words. It doesn't have to be negative. But let a motherfucker know you not about to take that shit. Because once you stand up for yourself, they're either going to stop, they're going to pipe it down some, or you're going to cut their ass off, period. And that's it. So this is an affirmation. I always give an affirmation. And I'm going to go over everything really quick. Everything I basically spoke on. When you are shutting down during conflict or some type of argument or emotional stress, remember that you shutting down is only giving somebody else the fuel to think you are weak. You are not weak. You're just protecting your emotions and you want to stay at peace. And during that, you can still have calm conversation and still let someone know that you will not take it. That's your boundary. That you're not going to accept how they're speaking to you. That's you putting up your boundary. That's you defending yourself. And then if they continue to disrespect, then cut them off. Keep them out of your life. You know, you don't have to match energy and all that shit, because nobody wants to match no low vibrational ass energy. Who wants to do that? Always keep your vibes up. Always keep your energy high. Just stop shutting down. Not only does that help your nervous system, it helps you be more confident. You know, not that since you're shutting down, you're less confident than what you were before. But when you do not shut down and you say, you're going to have to stop talking to me like that, or I'm not accepting that tone of voice, you know, that gives you, that'll boost that confidence. So, yeah. And some people, you have to do that too. So, I just wanted to have that little discussion about why you're shutting down, or if you shut down, because I used to do that a lot. And then, like I said, you know, I'm my own therapist, so I did a lot of thinking and, you know, stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I shouldn't have did that. Not saying that anything is wrong with it, but you feel so much better and you have so much more confidence within yourself when you stand up to people like that. Whether they're bullies or they just loud, you know. Stand up for yourself. You don't have to take that shit, period. But this is the affirmation. As always, you know, I have to give a little affirmation at the end. But it is, I am safe now. My voice matters. I don't have to disappear. I said this a beer. Do I need a beer? I don't even drink beer. Yeah, I'm gonna start over. I'm not even gonna edit this because I'm tired. This is the affirmation, y'all. I am safe now. My voice matters. I don't have to disappear to be protected. I don't have to shut down. I can be heard. Oh yeah. So that is it. All right, so we are closing this discussion. I want you guys to take a moment to breathe and reflect on what resonated with you. Growth doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small, intentional moments like this. So remember, you are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to choose peace, and you are allowed to become the woman you feel you're called to be. Defend yourself, set those boundaries. All right? And remember, until next time, choose love, choose peace, and choose you, because you're worth it.
Up all damn week, I ain't got no sleep. Racks on my mind, cash in my jeans, fun shit won't